Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Post-fight review, Adam Kownacki grabs a stunning second round knockout of Gerald Washington. It all went his way. Terrible strategy from Gerald Washington, opting to try bang in the pocket with Kownacki just playing right into his hands, and it didn't pay off. It went horribly wrong for the Californian man, and Kownacki just teed off on him pretty much from the get-go. End of the first round, it really starts to shake up Washington, hurt him, and Washington, he was lucky to make it out of the round. He was hurt, and then second round, a right hand just absolutely wrecks Gerald Washington. The ropes barely keep him up. He goes down, and Harvey Dock, the referee, gives him the opportunity to continue, and it looked pretty shaky. I thought he was going to call that off, but he gave him the opportunity to continue, and within seconds, it's over. Couldn't defend himself, and that was a theme throughout the fight. Gerald Washington, zero head movement, zero tactics that were effective. He gave up his height and reach advantage, didn't use them at all, opted to try be a banger on the inside with Kownacki, and really terrible tactics, and whoever came up with that game plan should be shot, because that was diabolical. It just played right into the pressure fighter's hands. But for Kownacki, very good performance. He showed, if you really want to try mix it up with him, he can hit and hurt you, and he can get you out of there. And for Gerald Washington, who's not noted for having the best chin, he's been knocked out a couple of times before. Well, it's so quizzical what he tried to do. He had the height, he had the reach, completely gave him up, and played right into the Polish-American fighter's hands. Adam Kownacki advances to 19-0. And after the fight, I'll just quickly go to my notes here. He said he was glad it ended as fast as it did. Pre-fight, Kownacki had said he thought it would actually go about 10 rounds or so, but he was glad it ended as fast as it did. And he also, after the fight, he gestured to Deontay Wilder in the crowd, did a gesturing, I want the belt sort of signal. And in the post-fight interview, he even said, I want the belt, baby. He wants to face Deontay Wilder. And that's a whole different kettle of fish from Gerald Washington, who I think tonight probably just saw the end of his career at a, near elite level, because that was another loss for Washington, and it was already a situation he needed to win to really stay in the conversation for big fights. So I think for Washington, he is now relegated to high-level journeyman or gatekeeper status. His days of contending for a world title, they appear to be well and truly over on the back of that performance. But Adam Kownacki, he advances, and that was a very good performance, albeit the guy he was facing really played right up into his strengths, and he can bang. He may not have the body beautiful, he may not look the part, but he is the part in the ring. And he threw almost 60 punches in a barely just over a round, and he got him out of there. Good performance. And the issue that we talked about ahead of the fight with his weight, he was 258 pounds for this fight. It didn't really become a factor in this fight because it was all over so early. So we don't really know how he was looking at this weight had it gone deeper into the fight. I still think it's a bit of a red flag for him to be over 250 pounds. I think coming down a bit is going to be advantageous for him, especially if he's going to fight someone like Deontay Wilder eventually, or someone of that ilk at the next level. Gerald Washington is not a top 20 guy. In the preview video, I said he's a top 40 guy or so at this point in his career. And maybe you'd have to say on the strength of that performance, maybe he's a top 50 guy, maybe a top 60 guy. Certainly didn't have a good game plan, terrible tactics. He got knocked out, and he got what he deserved, giving up the height and reach, which were advantages he should have been using in there. At least for the first round, try to, mix it up there with, try to keep him at range, manage the distance, work the jab, look for a right hand, but we saw none of that. It was basically all up, trying to mix it up in the pocket, bang with Kownacki, and it went horribly wrong. But Adam Kownacki, he moves on. He will be in the conversation for a title shot, probably not in 2019 though. The landscape of the heavyweight division right now, it's such that the champions are effectively all booked up for the rest of the year. There's probably not going to be much scope for Adam Kownacki to take a title fight in 2019. Although if he keeps winning, he is right there for a title shot when a champion, especially the WBC champion, becomes available. He's world ranked at the moment very highly. He's considered to be sort of around the edge of the top 10, and he will solidify his place around that position on the back of this performance against Gerald Washington. Good night for Kownacki, terrible night for Washington, and it was all over pretty quickly, but it was entertaining. What did you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.